Hello and welcome to the Dev Update with a special return guest that you guys have not seen in a while on camera, but I managed to drag him out of hiding today. He probably had a few beers. That's why he said he's okay to do it. We have the infamous CW. CW, how you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. Like I said, had a couple of beers while doing some yard work and bits and pieces like that. So yeah, good to go. And good to be in front of a camera once again and bringing some developer updates.
100%, sir. 100%. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Well, let's start off with a topic that's been bouncing around dev updates for the past 4 or 5 dev updates. But something actually happened. This was it today or yesterday or last night sometime? I don't know. It was probably like 5 days ago in Australian time, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting event. I know a lot of people are sort of hanging on any sort of Rosen Bridge news whatsoever, and we had a couple of test transfers go through, which is pretty exciting. So both one from Ergo to Cardano, transferring Ergo across, and vice versa. So from Cardano onto the Ergo chain, and a number of people have reported on successful reports and events from their watcher instances, which is pretty exciting.
Are you running any watchers, CW?
Yeah, I've got a couple up and running. So yeah, watching both the Cardano and Ergo side.
Are you pointing to Blockfrost, or are you using Kios or the Omega or whatever the heck it's called? Of the 3 options you have for the card. Yeah, Ogmios.
Yeah. I had Koios running, and I've just been in contact with the balance guys, and I've actually got one of their auth keys. So they're basically, what they're doing is kind of wrapping the Koios backend and providing endpoints through the balance platform. So I'm just doing some testing for those guys at the moment, which is pretty cool. So anyone can jump on their Discord. They've got a Matrix server up and running now. So anyone who wants to provide some input and do some testing for those guys, by all means, jump across.
And they're doing it for free for now, just so you can test it, kind of thing? Or? Oh, that's awesome.
Completely 100% open, free for anyone who's currently a watcher and wanting to provide some input back and provide feedback, basically. So yeah, jump across and give them some feedback.
Very cool. And I think the recent update on the watchers, right? The team reduced the amount of hits that it hits that API with too. So if you're not doing anything else with your API key for those, you shouldn't be rate limiting yourself. If that's the only thing you're doing, which is pretty cool. What was the I think for at least the Ergo side, I saw my watcher, they transferred 100 ergs, I think, over to Cardano. Is that right?
Now you put me on the spot. I can't remember the exact figure. I think it was 100. And
I'm looking right now. I've got my watcher.
From the Cardano side, it's 500.
Yep, exactly. So 100 ergs from the Ergo side, and it looks like let's see. Let's go to revenue tab. It looks like I got 1.122 Rosen, and that was 100 ergs. So that's pretty neat. That's exciting. There's 130-40 watchers in total, more on the Ergo side, and you're still able to get a Rosen 1.1 Rosen from only 100 erg transfer. So that's really exciting and promising. You think when the bridge gets big and it spreads out to multiple chains, and you're in a watcher on each chain, would be neat. The implications there and the possibilities is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, also on the Cardano watcher side, I think it was about 2 Rosen off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me.
So that was
for 500 ADA.
Oh, nice. So, okay.
Yeah.
And that was a combination because there's less watchers as well, right? Yeah. Less watchers, and it was more going. No, 500 ADA. Is that more than 100 ergs?
Well, what is it now? 60 cents?
60
roughly.
So it must be, right?
It'll be a couple of $100,
yeah. Cool. Very cool.
But then
that
also, it's good to see the watch set as well. So off the top of my head, don't quote me on numbers, I think it's around 70 or 80 Ergo watches and 60 odd, I think.
It's getting up there. 52 maybe the last, or 53. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny that it's getting up there like this. But the crazy thing is, I went to I've got enough Rosen to do both sides, but I went to most of my ergs are tied up in liquidity on the decks. I try to play around. I used to play around on 7Cs, and then did a little bit on non KYC just to provide liquidity for people there,
Yep.
and also projects. So when I jumped into Rosen, I had to liquidate some of that because I don't usually carry around too many ergs.
Yeah.
So I was about ready this morning. I said, "Oh, this is exciting! I'm going to jump on both chains. I'm going to be a watcher on the Cardano side." And all my most of my ergs now are tied up in the actual Rosen token, plus a
So
few other things. So it's like, oh crap! I got to figure out how to get up to 800 ergs so I can run a
yeah.
watcher on the other side.
And that's the thing, yeah. Just shuffling around some liquidity and bits and pieces. Yeah, it's everyone's had to do it, so yeah, it's good fun. And it's the cool thing that I liked about just on the watcher front, seeing 81% of the watchers on the Cardano side, on the Ergo side, sorry, that actually reported the event, and I think it was 66% on the Cardano side as well. So well over that 60% plus one sort of threshold in regards to actually creating an event box. So yes, it was good to see it go through.
The thing I'm impressed with is that they release this. They didn't really. I think I said this in a video before. They didn't release an executable or an app or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's literally a Docker image, so people are typing in the command line. But everybody, people, that many people, 150, 140 people managed to do it, and
Yep.
that's extremely promising. I think. Because you're an Ergo, you're in a little bit bubble where you feel that there's a lot of people that have that technical knowledge that can, are used to that kind of opening up the PC box and poking your hands inside kind of thing. But I,
Yep.
I was super impressed that on the Cardano side, they had no trouble, mostly besides the limit rating on the API
Yeah.
for Kios. Spinning those things up, super, super exciting, super cool.
Yeah. And the cool thing about also in regards to that point, the community sort of input that they're providing throughout both Discord and Telegram, all the help that's being provided. So yeah, huge shout out to the community helping everyone, helping each other, sort of troubleshoot and get all their instances up and running. So yeah, huge shout out to the community on that front as well.
Um, yeah. Well, so anything else happen in the ecosystem that we didn't mention in the AMA today that isn't Rosen Bridge? There was something cool.
Oh, I'd like to
Ladle picks.
shout out.
All right, go for it. You
Well,
go.
I was going to shout out the Christmas sort of thing that HQ and
Yeah.
all those boys have going at the moment. So I think that's a cool little initiative. A number of community members have sort of provided both ergs and NFTs and things like that. So I don't know what this website is. It ergexplorer.com/Christmas something.
If you go to ergexplorer.com or IO or whatever the site is, let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see what it is. There's a banner for the advertisement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's ergexplorer.com, and there's a banner right at the top for the Ergosanta right there. So you can click right on it and click through.
Yeah, so you
But
can send a letter to Santa and try your luck and hopefully get a NFT, or if not, you get rewarded some coal. So I think that's pretty cool.
that is pretty cool. I think Sigmanauts donated some NFTs. Other people donated some stuff. I think
Yep.
there's still time to donate. Is there, or is it all locked up?
No, don't quote me. By the time this video comes out, I think it's people can redeem their tokens
26.
on Christmas Eve,
26.
on the 26th, so
Yeah,
Boxing Day.
day after Christmas.
Day
You got
after.
it. Oh, Boxing Day. Perfect. Perfect
Yeah.
for opening the box. Yeah, Aso wanted to enjoy Christmas with his family and not
All right.
answer questions about why their boxes weren't opening up.
And that's fair enough as well.
Fair
The holiday season, it's all about spending time with family and friends, not
Correct.
some degen on the internet.
Who was it? Lato Pixel also came out with something cool today or the other day using MG Pi's ErgPi. Essentially, he wanted to build something that he could take with him that would allow him to interact with the blockchain. And for those of you that don't know, maybe you haven't been listening, you live under a rock, because every time I'm on air, I talk about ErgPi and MG Pi's Python implementation of the SDK. Essentially, he's using that, and you spin it up, and you have like a terminal-based thing where you have like 1 through 12 options. One's like format your wallet, the other one's like airdrop some tokens to people, a bunch of things, send NFTs, mint an NFT, all in like a terminal setting. It's a super cool idea. I haven't spun it up myself yet, but I looked at the GitHub and it looked pretty darn neat to do that. Yeah.
And just
All in Python.
safely make transactions. If he's on a open network somewhere, he can plug this in and have sort of that confidence in that respect as well, that he is utilizing something that he's built himself, so he knows what's going on sort of behind the scenes also.
Yeah, exactly. More robust than a wallet, and not as heavy as running the whole interface for auction house or Spectrum DEX and that kind of thing. So
exactly.
Super cool. All right, you want to jump into the dev update?
Yeah, sure. Let's get into it.
All right, I'll go first. No, why don't we let the guests go first? It's all you.
Sure. No worries. Well, kicking off this week, we have Captain Nemo and the Nautilus team update. So on the wallet front, still working on the Manifest V3 upgrade and is refactoring. It's got some ongoing research. So working on the Nostr-like ephemeral messaging protocol specification. So this will help improving the UX for protocol like Ergo, Paideia, and Multisig. And also researching on how to use proof of work for DDoS mass spamming resistance. That's pretty cool.
So he said this, so I can talk about it. This is huge, everybody. This is flipping massive. I just want you to imagine. So for those of you that haven't been following the auction house news, auction house does offers now. So you can go into auction house, find a token that you want, not on auction, just type in a damn token ID and make an offer on it. Okay. The next time somebody that has that token in their wallet goes to auction house and connects their wallet to auction house, they'll get a little notification in that little bell, the dinger bell thing up in the thing, and it'll say there's an offer for your Rosen or your NFT or something. So that's cool. Now I want you to imagine that where are we? This is possible in your freaking Nautilus wallet. So you could get a ding in your wallet that says, hey, somebody wants to buy that monkey NFT or the ape or your original what's it called? ErgOne. Yeah, you got it. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. No longer do you have to get NFTs that say, will you send me $5? You'll get you'll just get a ping that says, I want your 5 Erg, please.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And the user interface, the user interaction side of that's pretty mind-blowing, isn't it? So it'd be interesting to see the offers that come through.
Yeah, super neat. All right, we've got Luivatra with Crux. Crux Finance, fixed stake positions endpoint, working on adding cost basis to transactions endpoint, investigating error happening in LP endpoint on some wallets. Paideia beta to finish backend, create DAO code. Oh my gosh, he finished it this week. That's amazing. It's been 3 weeks of working on the DAO code, busy testing off chain. If all goes well, we'll test on chain tomorrow. That's today. I wonder if he tested on chain. We got to give him some kudos here. Let's flip those up. There we go.
It's pretty funny seeing Joe behind the scenes kind of nudge Louis in the right direction to try and get Paideia out. So a lot of people are sort of waiting on this, and having on-chain governance, it's going to be fantastic and a bit of a game changer, I think.
I agree. Joe uses the Discord DAO. He says quite often.
Yeah. Yep. Ridiculous.
You got Kushti, sir.
Yep. Kushti is up next. So on the protocol and reference client R&D front. So he's released protocol reference client 5.0.17. So it's got extra core modules separated and fixed in extra indexer. So a lot of people who were running their own instances of the Ergo node and the Watcher instance, the indexer sort of was lagging and actually froze for a number of it was days.
It was stuck. Yeah, yep.
Even yourself, you reverted back to, was it 0.14?
Yeah, 15 and 16 had the same issue because there was an indexer fix that was applied to 15 The 16 also
Right. Yeah.
had. So that indexer fix caused another indexer issue. So I rolled back to 14 that day, and I think they had a fix for it, at least in the GitHub, that you
Yeah.
could
In the
manually
branch.
do
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
that later that night, which was fantastic. And then there was a
Yeah.
final edition right here, which is cool.
Yeah.
But the cool thing I was saying about that is that um, anything that doesn't use the extra indexer was fine. My Explorer was
Yeah.
working. Transactions were being sent to my Explorer API, so it's really cool.
Yeah, it's just a layer on top that was frozen, but basic interaction, transaction processing, etc., still went ahead. Nothing sort of on the node level whatsoever was impacted by that one, just the indexer itself. So yeah, it's good. Okay, next, so he's back to Subblocks EIP. So he's thinking about on-chain commitment parts finalized. He's also writing Subblocks-based merged mined side chains. So he's putting a lot of mind share into this one as well. He's in later in the sort of update as well. He'll sort of request that. He's also found some unused code while working on Sigma map implementation. So he did a first PR towards removing unused code.
Oh, did you hear that trend? That he's like, oh, I found a ton of extra code. I removed 30 lines. And was it Morphic or somebody else was like, sir, we just removed like 500 lines from this thing here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so from the transition from 4.0 to 5.0, Morphic's gone through and he's removed around 15,000 lines of code so far. So yeah, that 30 was a little yeah.
It was a little ratio was scaled off a little bit there.
Yeah, a little. It's pretty funny. But yeah, it's good that they're looking at this and seeing what's actually being utilized and what's redundant and all that sort of stuff in the code base itself. So then moving on now, we have Chain Cache. So a PR has been done by Soysar. So with the whitelist and blacklist support for collateralization, Ergo is merged. So you can see that on GitHub. Also, implementation of sending of notes is going on. Then you'll have a reserve mint. So a note mint, note sending, and note predicate. So evaluation can do some basic chain cache things, and then we'll also finalize current contracts in CCIP 0. On the Oracle Core Dexy front, it's doing off-chain code for dev emission contracts, so polished emission and pay to contracts a little. Also with the Oracle Ops, so doing some more testing. So testing of the pool now. Then we'll do a forum post with current state of things and deployed and to be deployed. Encoded for us is adding a service in bot for fetching LP swaps, redeem, and deposit boxes.
That's fun.
Plenty going on as always.
I know, crazy. Speaking of Ergosanta, HQ's got, and I'm proud of HQ for getting it, on time. 38 minutes into the day, he got it. Impressive. It's not a day later like usual, sir. Update on Ergosanta. Key creator bot has been made. Index bot made. Chest redeeming bot is made. Ergosanta chest currently has $150 worth of tokens in it. Going to program rewards mechanism now. If anyone wants to contribute to chest, please send now. Ergosanta's chest contribution is right there. So there you go, guys. Please throw some stuff in there. Me goring or Comet. Wreck some people with Comet. Heck, even put some Neta in there, CW.
Oh, mate, I'm trying to rid myself of that. Someone along the lines of has tipped me, I don't know, I think like 40 Neta or something in my wallet, in my Tipbot wallet. So I've just been handing it out willy-nilly.
That's so kind of you.
Put the burden on someone else.
We got Mark for you, sir.
Yep. So next we have Glasgow. And as always, he's sort of organizing everything behind the scenes. So he's tracking all of the ecosystem ongoings on this event calendar now. So we'll try and keep an eye on it and keep it up to date, but no doubt we'll miss some things. So please at him or use the submit section to add any big upcoming events. So if you want to check that out, the link's there. And as you can see on the screenshot or the little thumbnail, there's plenty going on in the ecosystem, which is pretty exciting.
Mark's amazing at that stuff. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
There's like Is there a clean version of Rule 34? There's got to be like a rule mark or something. If you think about it, Mark's already made it. Essentially,
Yeah.
that's it's insane what the guy
Or
does.
you'll make a comment in passing, and 5 minutes later, he's spun up this website with everything else on it, and I swear he's got 5 of himself running there as well.
All right, looks like Kushti passed something from Bruno for Gluon. LGD's making the change for contract for the air, and Kai is working on front end UI and integration. And then he's got a call to discuss some subblocks, and we'll publish some thoughts on Node, Sigma REST development plans and roadmap. I imagine he means he does that on the forum usually when he talks about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if anybody doesn't know, there's Ergo forums, which are fantastic. You can see what Kushti's thinking about, what he's working towards, and see discussions between some of the core devs and community devs popping on there. It's a fun read if you have a minute.
Yeah, it tends to be a little sort of high level.
That's what ChatGPT is for.
Yeah, exactly. So he goes into sort of quite a bit of detail in his mindset and things like that, in exploring different pros and cons of different protocols and things like that. So, encourage anyone who wants to know anything extra around chain cache, Ergo, mining, anything like on that, jump onto the forum because it's a plethora of information. Okay, next up we have Liquid Phase and the terahertz.fm update. So he met with former Spotify dev, and he's not going to be part of the official team, but he's open to specific types of contracting work on the dev side. That's pretty exciting. So he's going to circle back after New Year's with him and a UI product designer person that he's chatting with. He's also looking for a project manager to help get the MVP pushed. A lot of people sort of, I don't know, I think terahertz.fm kind of flies under the radar a little. It's got a lot of sort of opportunity there for especially sort of independent artists, I think, in regards to sort of incentivization of their own music catalog and things like that. So, yeah, it's going to be a big one, I believe.
I'm excited to see it release. And I mean, I was talking to THC about this meeting with Spotify dev, and just to give you an example of how hard this guy works, is the Spotify dev was like, wow, with what you're doing by yourself, we usually have several people on a team working on this kind of thing. So Liquids has a Herculean effort this guy's putting into this kind of stuff. It's gonna be exciting. I know I have an album that I pushed out through Catapult that I'd like to retract and throw it up on THC as soon as it's live. It'll be a lot of fun, I think. Have more control of that kind of thing. Right now, I have no idea. You hit a button on Catapult, and I think I still own my music. CW, who knows? Maybe they'll charge me to take it down. I don't know, but we'll see.
I can't wait to listen to you strumming the ukulele. It'd be nice.
I should do a ukulele album. That'll be great. We got Coltier next, I think. With a Comet degen update. The minting out of our NFT collection has officially started on Lilium. Shout out to Lilium. Absolutely amazing product. Fantastic. Let's talk about utilities that might or might not have. All holders of specific NFT collection will have a Comet hold utilities. Comet HODL. Comet HODL is currently being developed from Not Work, and probably it will be ready this year. I would not put my hand on fire.
He's only got a couple of days.
Yeah. If we achieve a great amount in funds, Comet will launch one or multiple Rosen Watcher, and part of the revenue will be airdropped to NFT holders. That's super cool. Super cool. Yeah. And what's it called? Coltier wrote me this week and was asking what the Sigmanauts use for a voting system. And I was like, sir, we use this thing that I wrote in Perl over the weekend that's held together with duct tape and popsicle sticks. And he's like, oh, that sounds exactly like what Comet needs. So he gave me an idea of this standalone voting thing that we could do on chain, and I designed it out. And I poked around at it a little bit the other day and got some tests working. So I was going to try to do something that was, not Paideia. So if you want to do some on-chain voting and not create an entire DAO, and you also don't want to do something that's like a Discord thumbs up kind of thing, you want on-chain voting, Essentially, this would be a thing where you go, you fill in your vote, it's dumped into an NFT, and then any front end can then read those NFTs, which suck all the information off it, with the wallets that the NFTs are referencing that you can dump your tokens in, that you're airdropping to people. So it's more of a standalone kind of thing. Headless, of course, there's no database except the ledger that we'll work on. So he's challenged me to make this. Hopefully he doesn't use it if I make it. Classic COMET
If he does,
rug.
you'll fork it anyway.
Yeah, of course. Perfect.
It's
we got
good to
low
see
key
the
for
COMET
you.
boys always going ahead.
I know.
They're always tinkering with something, and yeah, just that expanding that knowledge base is pretty cool. I know we do give them some grief here and there, but yeah, great heart and great intentions.
If you want to upset Coltier, tell him that his logo is actually of an asteroid, not a comet. That really seems to piss him off.
All right. I'll have a chat to him after this. Okay, moving on from COMET, we have Low Key Nerd and the BlitzTCG update. So as always, the Blitz continue on working on various development efforts to reach the Feb 24 pack sale date. So the website, marketplace, ErgoPad collaboration for pack purchasing and opening, and then of course the game development itself continues to move forward. The game development will persist throughout the year 2024 based on the initial reception of the community, and look forward to our end of year 2023 recap video. He'll release that in a couple of days. And then he's actually made an addition. So using the new matchmaking database structure, you can do some things like trigger unlocks based on the number of matches played. Also the number of blockchain cards collected on Ergo, Cardano, or Nervos. There's also an example of the game board unlocks and one of them being used in a match. So you can follow that link. And you just forgot to, couldn't add the images to the update. So yeah, by all means, jump onto Twitter. It's got a pretty long post on Twitter as well. I encourage everyone to jump on there and give that a read.
Mick's a great Ergonaut, a hard worker, crazy like THZ. Kind of the, how many hours that guy puts in, those two put in to their projects, the blood, sweat, and tears is absolutely, and funds as well. Blitz is, pumping so much of his own dough into this, not asking for anything from the public first, but, letting his project stand up on its own and then potentially get some funds into it.
Yeah, a lot of respect in that regard, but then also people who are sort of currently involved predominantly in Telegram or Discord may not see him around, but if you jump onto Reddit, he's over everything. He's commenting on everything. So if you want to reach out to Mick, Reddit's probably the best platform to do so.
Very cool. All right, let's see who else we have. We have Cool Karen with ErgOne, and we are going to hopefully this weekend do a little bit of Sigmanauts and Ergo platform promotion of ErgOne. Sign those accounts up for ErgOne and try to promote it and get other people on as well. Very great, very good product. Notify users on the homepage when they receive tips from other Ergonauts. Yes, you can tip other users directly from the app. Super cool. That's something that Louis' bot got rugged from Twitter. So unfortunately, updated the X logo updated to X instead of the Twitter logo. Following another Twitter X modifications, tweets embedded were not working anymore. We found a new way to display tweets in the app, and lots of UI improvements for a better experience. Super cool. So you guys stay tuned for our announcements from the Ergo platform Twitter, so that we can all hop on this, sign up together. Maybe we'll also we did a promotion with them. The Sigmanauts did it one time. I think we threw them 100 ergs and they did a promotion to get people to do things with those ergs. I think we'll probably maybe do that again, hopefully soon, to get that out there as well. Yeah,
that's cool. Look forward to seeing that one. Okay, next up we have Death Grips on and the Analog Ergo Atomic Swap UI update. So it's fixed a number of bugs with HTML generation, so using the DOM manipulation to prevent inaccurate cache data from displaying. Also working on status box for persistent updates of multiple a bit of a tongue twister.
That's what you get for not doing dev
Simultaneous
updates
swaps.
for 3 months.
Exactly, mate. And then also working on making logging and create an account page functional. And finally, finding and correcting bugs that happen as a result of user flow. That's probably all for me.
And just a reminder, this was first place winner of Ergo Hack. That's super cool.
Yep.
All right, we got one more update from Kushti, and I think that's it. Kushti, I'd like to propose a following development plan for upcoming months for some core repositories. He's got some ideas for nodes, subblocks, P2P layer optimizations, avoiding rechecking signatures when revalidation is providing the same result, more optimizations during bootstrapping, store-only part. I don't even need to read the rest of these. Sigma 6.0 implementation, Sigma Rust implementation. So essentially what Kushti's doing here is just kind of setting a framework for what he feels is important moving forward that people can hop on and do. And speaking of that, Ergo platform, Wombo made a beautiful post, and I threw it up on Ergo platform of all the bounties that are out there for people to do. If you're somewhat of a dev or learning, or even if you're a more advanced dev, of course, there's ways that you can earn some ergs or sig USD, I believe, depending on what the reward is. The bounty.
Yeah. There's plenty up there. Always, like obviously limited number of sort of core devs, but then also having that community contribution, it goes a long way in regards to sort of redundancy and distribution around tasks, and ultimately sort of the end goal is having it being community run, sort of disbanded then from core or an official entity such as the EF. Having those repos basically run by the community be fantastic, but having this roadmap sort of ironed out, or even just making that suggestion now, having that forward thinking for 2024. As we know, Kushti's kind of superhuman in his efforts how he goes about things.
Yep.
One thing I do encourage, if you do have any input, by all means jump onto the dev channel or reach out across one of the many platforms. Is always looking for input, especially around 6.0 implementation. So number of things moving forward and moving the protocol forward. So by all means, join those conversations.
Well, I think that's it, CW. How do you feel? You feel worn out?
I feel thirsty. No, it's always, I love doing this sort of stuff because having that, you keep your finger on the pulse. And one thing I do, I always keep updated, reading through and whatnot, but actually sitting here and reading the update itself
Forces you to, doesn't it?
It forces you to and actually sort of digest what's going on. But it's great to be here and saying g'day and having a chat to yourself and all the fellow Ergonauts out there. By all means, have a safe holiday season, because friends and family are always important, and Ergo will always be here. So have a good one.
Yeah, sure will. Thanks, everybody. Ciao.
Ciao.